afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's e-conference on Cloud Kitchen, Perfect Time to Bloom, organized by FHIn, broadcasted by T3, and sponsored by Anushka Gourmet and Bonisons Equipments Private Limited. I, Murari Jha, editor, Travel Trends Today, will be your host and moderator for today's e-conference. As we all aware, the 75-day lockdown period by the government to contain the COVID-19 has changed the entire dynamics of the F&B and hospitality industry. This period has especially favored the cloud kitchen and aggregator businesses to an extent. Looking at these lucrative business opportunities, in the last couple of months, a lot of new interesting movements have taken place in the industry with a lot of trends into this segment of the business. Various reports have predicted that by 2030, most meals will be ordered online due to time-strapped millennials and ever-evolving technologies. Today, the speakers will share their valuable opinion about whether it is the perfect time to invest into cloud kitchen business and what is the way forward. We have eminent speakers among us, including Mr. Harish Chandra, Chief Technology Officer, Sarovar Hotels and Resorts, Mr. Rajiv Gulshan, Dean Academics, Culinary and Practical Arts at Indian School of Hospitality, Mr. Rajnish Chopra, Founder, RC Hospitality, Mr. Sachdeva, Director of Operations, Catterton Asia and former CEO, Lite Foods, Mr. Ashis Rout, Executive Chef, Crowne Plaza, Greater Noida, and we will also have Mr. Gurbaxish Singh Kohli, Vice President, FHRAI, and President, HRAWI, joining us in some time. Also, I would like to highlight that to the audience, to please feel free to ask any questions during the course of the e-conference pertaining to the topic by clicking on the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. So we will start with a very generic questions about the cloud kitchen as well as the current scenario in the industry. So coming to first, I am starting with Mr. Rajiv Gulshan. Sir, what is your assessment of the current situation?
In my opinion, thank you, Mr. Murarija. You really introduced us all very well. Thank you. In my opinion, the cloud kitchen is here to stay, and it is going to be an integral part of the food and beverage business. There are a lot of opportunities here for young people and also for entrepreneurs to expand into this particular business. It has its own challenges, which I think some of these themes will emerge during this conversation. And I also believe that there is an opportunity to increase the service aspects of cloud kitchen and look at various strategies on how these cloud kitchens can be made visible to people sitting from their homes, and which I would like to contribute a little bit later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sachdeva, what is your take on this? How are you seeing the current situation evolving up?
I think technology is going to play a major role. As we all know, most of us are inbound and locked down in a situation which has never happened in the past. And I feel that to take that fear out of everybody's mind in order to order freely from the confines of their home, it is important that technology comes and plays a role. While cloud kitchen was already on the rise, and I have seen a lot of interest from major investors and big entrepreneurs to get into the business, I think the business has a very good future, provided we take care of the contours of the business. As I said, the hygiene and the delivery and the contactless delivery, so on and so forth. So I think we have a bright future if we do it in the right way.
So technology is going to play a major role. And we have the CTO here, Mr. Chandra.
Thank you, Mr. Murari, for giving me the opportunity to speak here. The thing is, everything started in the year called as 2007, 2007, before that, everyone used to call center for pizza, everything. Today, everyone lives in BYOD, bring your own device. Today, in this world of COVID, no one wants to touch anything except their own mobile. Millennials, Generation M, they live in doing things themselves. They don't want to call a call center. The thing is, all the mobile apps are so beautiful. You can see the calorie value. You can see how much time it will take. You know from where it is coming. So technology really changed a lot of things after 2007. What happened is uh, the invention of touchscreen has really changed the world, which has given a lot of disruption in our industry. Oyo Rooms, Fibo, Fab Hotels, a lot of new technology hotel companies have come who have totally captured the market, whether it is Airbnb. In the same way, after 2010, we have seen companies like Zomato, Uber Eats, Swiggy, and a lot of other companies coming in this. But the thing is, the real game changer will happen when there will be one kitchen delivering all the cuisines of India, which I foresee happening soon. The only thing is there's some concerns like from where my food is coming, whether chef is maintaining social distancing. Like Mr. Sharad said, hygiene and sanitization needs to be taken care of. Cloud kitchen is a very abused word also, but I'm sure with time it will come to greater heights because for your very important dates like marriage anniversary, birthday, you will like to go to a very classy restaurant, but on daily basis you can't go there. You want to have 2 meals, 3 meals in a week's time at your home. You are tired. You have no option to order it from a cloud platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rout.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jha.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. So for me, being a chef, cloud kitchen is, I think it's a disruptive idea. I mean, the way it has come up. I mean, the best part of if I remember, we are talking about cloud kitchen in India now because of whatever reason. But I think when I read about it almost 7-8 years back, there is a company called Plaza who are bigger time into this business. And it is not about only looking at the current scenario as Mr. Gulshan and Mr. Chandra said. It's all about the millennials. I mean, if we look at the generation, the millennials, they're very tech savvy. I mean, they want everything on the tip of their finger. So it's going to be going to play a bigger role, which is in the coming future. And if I look at the other part, which is currently surrounded by the COVID-19 and the scenario, so it plays a bigger role. And of course, from the point of view of a owner, from the point of view of an investor, it plays a superb role because it controls the cost, and there are multiple brands which comes under one roof and deliver from one roof to different customers, which gives a bigger value to the investor. The only thing what I look at is that these kitchens are known as the ghost kitchen or the dark kitchen. So they are not there in the picture. But I'm sure that with the coming time, they are going to play a bigger role in the market of the food industry for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Chopra, what is your current assessment? Can you unmute, sir? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Jha. Thank you for having me here. Cloud Kitchen is very close to my heart. Been working on it for a pretty long time. My take is on Cloud Kitchen, there are two T's which are very vital in Cloud Kitchen. One is talent and second is your tech. When I talk of talent again, for my friends who are here, and I can see as we spoke that there are a lot of young talent out here who want to really be on their own. Talent is in terms of first is to deliver and create fantastic food. Second talent is your business skills. Second, tech, my colleague Harish is here, who is, as the authority on tech. Tech will play very, very important role in terms of scaling it. That we'll talk about it as we go, deep into it. Secondly, my take on Cloud Kitchen right now is this, that there was already a transition in terms of consumption patterns of a consumer before lockdown. And COVID has come and has battered us very badly. So I can see there are new players coming in, and the new players are also coming in because they need to salvage the business that they have been into, and they have to. It's very vital for them. The kind of battering we have got in food and beverage business, and the dine-in business is being hampered. So they will be taking this model, and this model will have a lot of variations. We'll have a lot of hybrid models coming in, where it could be a cloud kitchen operating with takeaway, and it could be drive-through. So I'm sure as we move forward, and this is one of my most favorite topics, and thanks for having me here. I'm sure we'll, as a panel, add value to our audience who are here, and we'll try to see how we can simplify and tell them. Thank you. Thank you. I hope it makes logic.
Thank you. Coming to Mr. Chandra. Mr. Chandra, what is the role of technology in promoting or making the cloud kitchen popular?
Technology can play an important role. It is all about winning guest sentiments. In today's world, everyone is scared. It's a very unprecedented time. The thing is, if we install, say, CCTV camera in a cloud kitchen, then guest sentiments are good. Guests will know how food is prepared, what all ingredients are used. There are a lot of duplicate items, paneer, soya sauce, other things which are available in the market. It is very easy to give very good aroma and very good presentation to food using different colors, different technologies. But who will win is if someone installs a CCTV camera in his kitchen, then guest knows how food is prepared, whether social distancing is maintained by the chef. You can give a band which will take care of 6 feet different distance between the chefs. Or if somebody has not put the mask on, automatically executive chef or someone will get a notification. These are the good things. Ultraviolet rays are used to disinfect all the cutlery, crockery. Different chopping boards are used. I am not too sure how many kitchens are following all those things. In my way, like one of the gentlemen mentioned, that technology can help in scaling all those things. Cloud kitchen, if used in proper way by big business like say Tata. Example, if you are buying anything from Tata, you have trust that the food ingredients are used properly. Like a hotel, whether 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, they use right chemicals. They maintain all the food safety standards. They do not use any of your color to make that food so presentable. So CCTV will play important role. In future, I see that delivery by drone or say robots making food will overtake. These are all futuristic. It will take at least 5 to 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm coming to Mr. Sachdeva. You have worked as a CEO of Lightweight Foods. Now this new concept has come up in this. So how do you see the advantages and disadvantages of cloud kitchen? Because there are many positive factors, there are many weak factors also associated with cloud kitchens. So how do you see, sir?
I think first we will have to define and make it a very, I see everybody is talking about cloud kitchen, and I also see that probably half of the consumers, I'm talking about consumers, they don't know what cloud kitchen is or a ghost kitchen is or a dark kitchen is. They're assuming that there is some kitchen somewhere in a property which is not so good, not so prime, and the food is cooked there. When you say that the property is in not so prime area, you start assuming it is in a area which is not hygiene or hygienically better maintained. So first and foremost, I think we all should, or try to make a campaign or try to educate the customer as to what cloud kitchen exactly means. What is the difference between a normal restaurant or a normal restaurant's kitchen and a cloud kitchen? Once the customer is aware what cloud kitchen is and what are the advantages of buying food from cloud kitchen, then the customer will have the faith that my food is probably cooked in a very hygienic restaurant or a kitchen as good as mine, may not be in a mall or a very upscale market, because the rentals are lower in certain areas which are not so prime, but the cleanliness is not taken for granted. So we have to instill faith in the consumer's mind and define cloud kitchen very clearly as to what cloud kitchen is and how is it different from a restaurant kitchen. Once we clear that doubt, then we have to educate customer further that why and how we are doing what we are doing in a cloud kitchen and what is the versatility of a cloud kitchen. As somebody just mentioned, that it is not a far cry when we will have a lot of cuisines being serviced from the same kitchen. And I'm privy to a certain businesses. We work very closely with Swiggy also, and there are kitchens where they serve food for at least 5 to 7 different cuisines from the same kitchen. The packaging is different. The team is the chef are different, and some of the things are used very, very efficiently to reduce the cost of the kitchen, but still make sure that they don't compromise on the quality and the taste of the food. So all these things needs to be clarified in the consumer's mind. We we who talk about cloud kitchen, it is our moral responsibility as to how we educate our customers and how we instill faith in their minds in the current situation when we are very worried about small kids or aged parents to take them out into a restaurant and sit there because it is not the right time and the mood is not there and the sentiment is not there and there is a fear psychosis in the minds of most of us. And so in certain situations, first we'll have to educate the customer what cloud kitchen is and how cloud kitchen is different from a restaurant kitchen, how hygienically we prepare food in a cloud kitchen. Doesn't mean there is a cloud kitchen or a dark kitchen. That means it is really dark, it is dingy, it is unhygienic, food is not handled properly, chefs are not clean, and the way we treat food is not right. So we'll have to first of all educate them. Once we educate them, then we have their attention towards what we are saying. When we have their attention, then when we can popularize our concept, then we can talk about cuisine, then we talk about the menu item, then we can talk about the chef, then we can talk about different things. Right now, I feel that we need to clarify very, very clearly into the minds of the consumer that cloud kitchen is exactly what. You asked me what is the advantages and disadvantages. In Lite Bite Food, I was never handling a cloud kitchen. That time, we were not doing any cloud kitchen. Having said that, we were supplying food to a lot of our QSR restaurants. We were supplying food to at least 7 different airport outlets in Delhi, 30 different outlets in Bombay. Similarly, in Pune, Ahmedabad, Bhubaneswar, Indore, we were supplying to almost 100 airport outlets. So this kitchen was in a way working as a cloud kitchen to all these restaurants, but we would call it a commissary, which was a base kitchen. Similarly, we were cooking a lot of different cuisines. We were making sandwiches, we were making pizzas, we were making pizza sauces, we were making croissant, we were making everything, all different cuisines. We were making paneer gravy, we were making rasgullas and gulab jamuns also. So this is what a cloud kitchen is supposed to be functional like, and we need to educate. So advantage is it's a low cost initiative. And in the current situation, when the F&B and the hospitality industry per se is suffering from a very, very dark phase, it is all the more important for us to innovate our style of approaching the customer with food, which is what I feel is in the cloud kitchen is the best possible alternative. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Gulshan, I am coming to you. There is a need of clarity. Cloud kitchen, ghost kitchen, dark kitchen, and some people, in very layman terms, they also associate cloud with cloud technology, even it is a cloud kitchen. So, how do you think? How can we bring the distinction here?
Yeah, very, very valid question. I think there's a lot of confusion in people's mind when we talk of cloud kitchen, and some of the previous speakers have also spoken about the terminology dark kitchen. Kind of puts a impression of something which is not visible, something which is not hygienic, something which is not happening in the right way. So I think when we discuss or when we talk about cloud kitchen, it's a good integration of technology which is happening and which is happening with the food which is available to the customer on his phone. There are a lot of challenges with cloud kitchen compared to a person coming to a restaurant to eat or ordering from that particular restaurant because of the visibility, number one, and the time which you have to impress the customer with your service. That aspect, in fact, is missing. So you really need to have a cloud kitchen really needs to make that impact through the quality, I believe, than more than anything else. When I say quality, it could be quality of packaging, quality of food, quality of the time and delivery which happens. In a restaurant environment, you have sometimes an opportunity to correct in case something goes wrong. You give a dessert complimentary, or you could give something to look after the customer and apologize. But in this case, cloud kitchen, I believe the guest is not approachable. You sometimes don't even know their numbers because it's through a technology and technical platform which does not share the details so there's no service recovery which can happen. And that's why it becomes important to kind of define what cloud kitchen is and before people start venturing into something like this to understand whether they have the capabilities and capacity to grow into this business. In my opinion, for a cloud kitchen, you require, as a chef, especially I've been a chef for a number of years in my life, I think you need to be really an expert to know exactly what your niche market is and what you want to give out to there. And because there's so much competition, it becomes a little bit difficult to define your own cuisine. Because what people are doing is people are watching you through a platform of a technology, and they're not seeing you or interacting with you directly. And that's why one of the previous persons also spoke about having cameras in the kitchen which could showcase live how your food is being prepared, what ingredients are being looked or put in your food. I think that's a brilliant strategy again, which can be incorporated. So there are a number of programs, a number of I think webinars which need to happen on this subject to define and in fact say what could be one authority which could certify a cloud kitchen, which gives it a certification of credibility, where we say, okay, if you have this certification, I believe, I trust that basics of hygiene, basics of food are being looked into. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gulshan. Welcome, Mr. Kohli. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I would like you to, since you are Vice President FHRAI, President HRAWI, so I would like you to speak 2 minutes on the current situation of the hotel and hospitality industry. Just quick 2 minutes, and then coming to the future of cloud kitchen, how the traditional and cloud kitchen can integrate and support each other.
Thank you. Firstly, let me apologize for joining in late. I'm a little bit technically challenged, so there were some issues with the network, but I hope I'm audible and visible now. So thank you for inviting me to this panel to speak. I will quickly give you in a couple of minutes my overview of what the current situation is. I don't think we need one more sermon from somebody who's as to what today's what are the conditions today for the F&B industry. I'd just be adding to the gloom. What I would like to say is that food consumption has witnessed a drastic change, and times are changing, and we have to be aware of this and change with the times. I don't see this COVID issue hanging on for a very long time, but till it is there, we'll have to be careful. Hygiene, of course, will take the forefront in this, and our capacities, if you're talking about brick and mortar restaurants, will be almost cut down to half. Let us leave the gloomy part there. We need to know that times are changing, and we need to change with the times, as I said. We have to see how quickly we have gone from home cooked meals to dining out only on special occasions, to dining out once in a week, to dining out almost replacing home cooking, leading to ordering thrice or 4 times a week. So convenience is trumped at every level. Quite visibly, the cloud kitchen concept is shaking the business of the conventional brick and mortar food store. But the concept is not to be taken for a passing shower. As we are wondering whether it's going to be whether it's just a passing fad. No, I think it's going to be. It is here. It is going to stay, and it's high time everybody noticed it and took note of it. With changing food trends and habits, the cloud kitchens are therefore here to stay. One common misnomer is that it is believed that these cloud kitchens serve a market that was unable of being penetrated by traditional restaurants, which is quite true. But the new business concept is not taking market share away from the current restaurant owners, but I think it's only expanding the consumer base. So the more the merrier. Welcome. I think this is another concept, and this concept is just one of those in F&B, and we should welcome it with open arms. You will notice people asked me earlier also that why are prominent players, restaurant players now entering into cloud kitchens? Well, just a little fact and figure. The food ordering market of India is expanding at a CAGR, or a compound annual growth rate, of 16 to 17% to reach almost $17 billion by 2023. the projected market size of cloud kitchens is expected to reach 1.05 billion by 2023. So it's no wonder that prominent players in this food business with one foot firmly in the food delivery business and in their brick and mortar restaurants are aggressively moving towards cloud kitchens to cash in on the frenzy. You will see even food aggregators are investing in these kitchens. But there are a lot of reasons why the meteoric rides of cloud kitchens are here, and our outlook as an association is to welcome them. In fact, our association, which is called Hotel and either Western India or FHRAI, always banks on hotel and restaurants. We need to know that there are more concepts. There are internet kitchens or cloud kitchens. There are QSRs. There are food trucks. Everything is going to come and everything is going to add on to the kitty. So right now we have changed our constitution to include these also. Somebody was mentioning earlier about certification. Yes, the Hotel and Restaurant Association of Western India and the FHRAI have our own certification norms, whereby we certify hotels, restaurants, and now also the ancillaries like cloud kitchens, QSRs, and that is accepted by the government. We'll come to that later. But right now, I would just like to say that, yes, cloud kitchens are here to stay, and we should realize that, and we should not refute it. They're not our competitors. They're just adding onto our base, and the more, the merrier. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming to Mr. Chopra. Mr. Chopra, a specific question for you related to this only, what the clarity between the cloud kitchen, ghost kitchen, and different this. So it is gradually becoming very fancy in F&B industry. So what are the key elements to run a successful cloud kitchen business? What are the to-do list or checklist which one must look at while opening the cloud kitchen, and what could be the approximate investment? That is one part of the question. A key element to run successful checklist. Sure. The second part is, can the hospitality students be easily equipped with tools or skills to set up a cloud kitchen? And can they look it as a successful career option?
Sure. Can you hear me? Am I audible? I was slightly losing you.
Yeah, you are
Can you hear
audible.
me? Okay. I'll go to the first part of it. As you very rightly said, I mean, I'll be very positive in my thought that we should not get carried away by Googling a lot of successful, companies which have, forayed into it. And we need to also look at the back of the mind, the mortality rate of F&B business, especially in terms of cloud kitchen. And as I'm part of cloud kitchens, I've been doing cloud kitchens for a pretty long time. So my personal thought to a lot of students who are there on the panel right now who are watching us, my thought is it's a fantastic idea, but there are few vital points which they need to really think on. First is this, the biggest, the problem with cloud kitchen is that you are going to be in a very overcrowded digital space. And for you to be seen in that space, there is a incubation time that you will need to be actually seen. That is number one. That's the biggest disadvantage if you see, and that's not a disadvantage. You have to see it in a very positive way. Secondly, what happens is this: a lot of people enter into this business because they see that a lot of people are entering, so let's go into it. I would say no. I would say they need to really have a right kind of a design on a white paper strategy. And my suggestion to them, as you asked me a question in terms of a checklist, I'll just give my thoughts to a lot of, to-be entrepreneurs who are there. The first is this, kindly, as I told you, the two things which are very, very vital. First, you need to really ask the question, why I want to go into it. Secondly, how I want to go into it. First is why. Why will define your vision statement, why you want to be in this business. Second is how. How is the process and how do I really want to go about? And why I'm not going to answer, I'm sure they are here, 500 plus people, they must have thought about it. The seed is there in them. Second is, how do I go about it? My first thought is this: after this webinar is over, take a white paper and write down what product you want to sell. as a beginner. Now, I'm not talking that you are already having, 20,000 square feet of a kitchen. We're not talking of that. We are talking of that you are going to invest 8 to 9 lakhs of your hard-earned money. You want to start a cloud kitchen. What you want to do? That's the question. Am I right? Am I answering you right, Mr. Jha? Is that what you are? Yeah. I hope you're not looking at, $1 billion, PE coming in. I hope you don't want me to talk on those lines, right? So we are talking very simple, very basic, that somebody who's a student, fantastic avenues, investing 7 to 8 lakhs of their hard-earned money. What is it that they need to do? First is this: they need to do what product they want to sell. That is the most defining. That's the most important aspect, that you're really going to go into the market. A tasty food. I use a very cliched word, tasty food, lip smacking food. That can they deliver that, and what is it they want to deliver? That is number one. After they have gone into that element of the food part of it, because that's your main product. Second is location. Who is going to buy that product? So there has to be right study. There has to be right feasibility of a market. They need to study that. They need to really go into it. They need to have primary data coming in. They need to analyze that data. They shouldn't be in a haste to really do it. Second element is this. I always tell people when they do businesses, especially when there are young talents going into it, spending money, is please do a feasibility of your financials. Meaning, look at a cloud kitchen of 180 to 200 square feet. I have done quite a number of them, as a matter of fact. 200 square feet kitchen, do a full projected P&L. You need to do a projected profit and loss statement, and you need to establish your break-even point. For my lot of entrepreneurs, to be entrepreneurs, if they want, they can write one formula for a break-even point. It may help them. BEP, break-even point, which can help them in terms of study, is equal to fixed cost divided by 1 minus variable cost percentage. Look into this element, use this formula, drive your break. First, understand that I'm investing X amount of money. Maybe I'm taking example of Mumbai, that I'm investing 180 square feet kitchen in Andheri East. My demograph is Hiranandani, Mulund, Thane, whatever is your demograph there. And what is the kind of investment I am doing? What is the product I am doing? And what is my projected P&L? Once you have established your market study, second, your financial, feasibility, you will come to know on an approximate. I'm just giving you from my, experience to a lot of them who are here, that your 180 to 200 square feet kind of a cloud kitchen for a beginner, your break-even point will come to around 12,000 rupees a day. 12,000 around, 12,000 rupees a day. So when you're looking at a 12,000 rupees a day break-even point, now they need to again bifurcate this sale into, that will be equal to number of orders multiplied by average order ticket, as we call in the restaurant, number of covers into APC. So they need to again go into number of orders into average order ticket. So they need to again understand that, can I actually get 80 orders at the rate of 150 if it's a 12,000 rupees? Then they have to again cascade it down to how. Now see, please understand, when you are starting on your own, there's a huge limitation. Aggregators are there. They are there. And you have to have a right marriage with aggregators. You have to have that marriage. You have to pay 25 or 24 or 22% commission, whatever is there for that. Your marriage has to be there, because they are the people who are actually going to be doing a lot of business for you. Now, you need to understand that, will you be seen on the platform? Or do you have any other strategy that somehow you will do 12,000? Because if you don't do break even, say if I do only 8,000 or 9,000 rupees, if I do even 4,000 rupees less a day, it is for a startup. I am going to lose 1,20,000, and that 1,20,000 I'm going to give from my pocket. Trust me, I come across these cases, nearly 10 cases a month. And that is where the problem happens, because there has to be a strategy that, will I first reach a break-even point? I'm not even talking of making profits. I'm not even talking of GOP. I'm not talking of that. I'm only saying, can you make a break-even? Of course, after 6 months, and I'll tell you, I have a very different view. If you want to interrupt and stop me, you can always stop. Mr. Jha, this topic is very close to my heart, so I go very passionate into it. You can always stop it if time is less. So what happens secondly is this: I always tell a lot of entrepreneurs, I tell them, keep working capital as a project cost. I know it is not, but I tell them. I said, keep at least, say if I'm doing a cloud kitchen, I always tell them, keep around 5 to 6 lakhs working capital as a project cost, because there are chances, even if you're doing good, you may not be doing break even for first 5 to 6 months. There's a reason to it. In a food business, you don't start making money from day one. There is a kind of incubation time to a business. It takes 5 to 6 months for you to get right feedback from customers. You have to get right rating. So these two studies are very vital for my friends who are going to go into it. They should do market study. Second, they should do a financial feasibility. because it's very, very vital. Thirdly, the goal is very, very clear in a cloud kitchen. They need to give tasty food in a safe. Now, safety was always a priority for me, always a priority, being from FNB. But right now, I'm reinforcing more. The safety is very vital. Tasty food is vital, and very vital parameter of cloud kitchen, which I want to tell my friends, is it's your delivery time. You need to really excel in your delivery time. Very, very vital. And there your technology is going to help you, not for your one outlet. The first outlet then you make will be a prototype. But definitely when you come into this business, you have a plan to scale. But don't be in a hurry to scale. You need to have very organic growth. You can't be inorganic. When you have inorganic growth, you start falling. And that's the reason for a lot of companies making huge losses. So understand it is going to be a prototype. Technology will play a role. I'll just add my last point on technology. See, for technology, once you start scaling your cloud kitchen from 1 to 20, then you will need to take help of say Google Cloud Platform. They have a Google Map platform, which is going to give your, a kind of heat maps coming out. They will help you exactly in terms of your accuracy of your delivery times, number one. They will also help you in understanding your underserved markets. Third, Google has one more application, which is, BigQuery, which also helps as you start scaling in. They'll help you in your fantastic inventory management, because if you need to really see that your margins are fantastic, you need to run it in a very processed way. And my last point is this, my friends, please design success of Cloud Kitchen. Don't go by chance. Secondly, be a firm believer of processes. When I say processes, you need to have right standard recipes. You need to have right, checklist in your cloud kitchens, right job descriptions. And as everybody is talking about, in terms of safety, I can see that in a month or so, you will have live streaming of your food being made on YouTube. The customer will be told that they can watch live streaming. This is the future. This is going to happen, actually going to happen. And definitely, and even if you look at Domino's, what they have done, their full marketing today is on safety. If you look at their, pizza boxes, they're only talking of safety. So definitely, yes, it is going to be there. I hope I answer, and I hope I'm not taking too much time, Mr.
Thank you. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Gulshan. Thank you.
Mr. Gulshan, everyone is talking about the safety and hygiene. Some hotels even talking about appointing COVID managers. There are talks going on. So if you see, the safety and hygiene has become the core of every business. And this is going to create additional job as well, while there is a job retrenchment also. So do you think, or are you looking at introducing any specific certification course for this to implement safety, hygiene, and social distancing sort of thing in your institutes?
So I would first like to point out, Mr. Jha, that safety and food and chefs have always been working together. For us, this is nothing new. For all the restaurants owner, working in a hygienic manner is nothing new. This we have been working from since the time we start entering our courses. It is now getting more exposure. It is now getting more visibility, and that's why people are talking about it. In my opinion, whatever is being taught or whatever is being spoken about, whatever is required, is already integrated in the curriculum. And a lot of our time and effort while teaching also goes into hygiene. What is also important to bring up at this stage is that it is good that now the people around or even the customers are getting to know about these things. And a successful restaurant or cloud kitchen who is following the processes, who is following the HACCP standards, who is following their hygiene standards is not going to have an issue. In terms of adding courses, we have been approached by certain companies to do some programs for them. So we have started short-term programs of close to 6 weeks, which we have started now promoting. These are basically take you through the necessary aspects of what is required when all the touch points which need to be covered and cleaned on regular basis, and also the awareness which needs to be brought around, not only among our employees, but also to the guest, that what is being done. So now I think it will be spoken about more, but it is always, in my opinion, happening in any quality restaurant or business, this was an integral part of the business.
Mr. Chandra, we are talking about traditional kitchen, cloud kitchen. What sort of technological advancement do you see coming into the kitchens segment? And also, will hotel chains look at cloud kitchen model to further increase their F&B revenue? First part. Second, how technology can help traditional kitchen to match with the cloud kitchen?
Very interesting question. Change is the only thing which I see is constant. Okay, the thing is Corona has taken over everything now, but change will happen. Reception is happening. Hoteliers are trying to take the drop from the ocean. Okay, it's a very small money for hotels, but the thing is in hotels, the new revenue models are takeaway. And second is revenue through the car rentals. These are the new streams of revenue for the hotels. And I feel that hotels will change their design. They will keep a space for takeaway so that they design kitchens accordingly. Kitchens will be shifted near to the porch area somewhere so that delivery can be faster. So traditional kitchens need to be changed now. Design will be changing now. It is not going to be the same. Now, the thing is in hotels, we take care of food in very different manner. All the chefs are given thermometer. We make sure that food is handled properly. We make sure that vegetables are cleaned with 50 ppm of chlorine. Non-veg items are washed with 100 ppm of chlorine. And food is handled properly at any given point of time, whether it is stored, whether it is kitchen stewarding, whether it is stored in a deep freezer. So what I'm saying here is that some hotels will shift their kitchens if space permits, or many of them will tie up with some big cloud kitchen like Zomato, Swiggy, or XYZ. If they feel that the cost of making food is very difficult, maintaining social distancing, maintaining hygiene, sanitation, buying so many chemicals is not easy. So it all depends from hotel to hotel, location, structure, design, lot of factors basically, I will say. Now, I want to say something here. This is the world of mobile app. All the hotels are going for either a mobile app, but the customer does not download the mobile app. There's something called as PWA, Progressive Web Application, which is a URL which gives you a feel and look like a mobile app. Hotels are developing a URL. They send an SMS to a guest that please click on this URL to open my menu. Menu gives complete details of how food is prepared, what is the calorie value, what are the allergies. Okay, it gives you the complete details. It tells you how much time it will take for the order. Now, going forward, the future is into something like one kitchen. The name is say Makhan Market, but online the name is Harapatta. So people are creating two names of the same kitchen so that people think these are two different items of the same physical kitchen. The cost of real estate is so high today, it becomes very difficult for a hotel to afford a kitchen. In a restaurant, which is say 100 covers, your 75 to 80% space goes into guest dining area. 50 to 20% space is there in the kitchen. And if that kitchen can be in some remote area nearby, which is very cheap, where you can do mise en place, that's a success story.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chandra. Coming to Mr. Rout, thank you for coming back again. Mr. Rout, very specific question for you. Earlier, the top hotel chains were only interested in catering to the in-house guests and the fine dining business. Home delivery of F&B from the five-star deluxe hotels were completely unheard of. Now, with many chains partnering with aggregators, how has the trend changed? Also, do you foresee a good business in this segment? And are these new trend putting more pressure on the working environment of kitchen? Mr. Rout? Mr. Rout? Mr. Rout, can you hear me?
I think maybe
his video is freezed.
Maybe he lost the connection.
I think he is not there. So coming to Mr. Kohli, as we discussed, related to the same question, do you think that the hotels have adopted cloud kitchen model of business? Do you see this business as a short to mid-term one, or is it going to stay for the long term, given the considering the current situation in mind, or our hotels are going to adopt this model to push their revenue? Mr. Kohli, unmute, please unmute yourself.
Yes. Yes, I'd earlier also mentioned, I think cloud kitchens are here to stay. They were there before, and only they've been brought into the highlight because of present conditions. And I like to think positively, and I'm thinking that way when I say that this is not going to be a permanent phenomenon. So we shouldn't base our entire thought process only in wondering whether what will happen. Social distancing is here. I would rather call it distancing than just social distancing. I think it's a very harsh word. And once things start getting back on track, we will definitely not see cloud kitchens vanishing. The crucial aspect of driving the cloud kitchen concept is basically the practicality of the phenomenon. The business focuses on maximizing the number of orders per day and decreasing the overall production and packaging time. Leading food delivery apps are also tapping into the cloud kitchen. I definitely think it's not a passing phenomenon, and it's going to stay. There are a lot of, I will not go deeply into the merits or the demerits of this. I'll just say that if you compare to a brick and mortar restaurant and a cloud kitchen, it comes at a much cheaper cost. There is no real estate rental costs. There's minimal. The cost of renting, actually, you will realize it now too, for a food outlet has led thousands of restaurants earlier, as well as now, mostly now I would say, to shut shop or to shelve the idea. Each year more restaurants shut down than open due to financial issues. So finance is number one. And the cloud kitchen just hardly requires a minimal percentage of that. Secondly, it was also discussed on location and clientele. The restaurant requires high working capital vis-a-vis the cloud kitchen requires very meager capital. And basically it's a new kitchen centric model of the food business, and that's attracting the fascination of startups. So it doesn't require that much investment needed to open a full-fledged dine-in restaurant. Of course, what kind of cuisine and the financial feasibility, as well as what the other aspects that my earlier colleague just mentioned, will definitely come into play. But experts are bullish about the cloud kitchen is because it's the home delivery trend. The pandemic has just shifted that trend earlier. This was always happening. It will always happen as families get nuclear, which they are, and both the spouses work. It becomes more and more difficult to have a meal every day at home. The Dabbawala started this trend of delivering your food, and now there are these aggregators. As I said, it's the practicality of the phenomenon.
Now we have got many questions. I can see 73. We'll take some questions, but before that, I would like Mr. Sachdeva to answer on one, to talk basically on one. How do you see, one is, how do you see consolidation taking place in the cloud kitchen space? Because so many players, startups are coming and going back as well. Even the established players are like, if you see their loss last year, it's quite in 100 millions, the big aggregators were. So how do you see the fundings happening overall in the restaurant industry? And basically in the new cloud kitchen, is the funding available for the startup business here?
I think definitely any business which has a decent ROI is of interest to investors and investee companies, and all the private equity funds will look into it. Having said that, it is still a far way to go on cloud kitchen for any big private equity firm to look into it in a very interesting manner, because the sheer size of a cloud kitchen business is very small. Cloud kitchen is at a very nascent stage, as rightly put. This situation of COVID-19 has kind of catapulted home delivery a bit. Even the restaurants are looking into it. Even five-star hotels probably are looking into deliveries, and so deliveries have taken a front seat. But having said that, there aren't very many big players which can take a fancy of a private equity firm and they start looking into it. I very categorically remember when we were investing in Riaz Amlani's impresario, we were talking with almost all the big boys of the F&B industry, including A.D. Singh and Zoravar and so on and so forth. And there weren't very many big players even in the brick and mortar store business. So cloud kitchen is far newer and far smaller as compared to normal dining restaurants. So I think any business which has the juice in it in the long haul will definitely have the fancy of a private equity firm. Having said that, I have heard a couple of transactions happening in this space where some investors have shown interest in a cloud kitchen consortium or a smaller company. I think a lot of mergers will happen, a lot of acquisitions might happen if people have money, because for acquisition you need money. But mergers are a strategic mergers. I mean, two people can come together and combine their strengths and take help of the economies of scale. So mergers, I think there'll be a lot on the cards, but acquisition, I don't know. While it is the right time for the private equity to be looking into newer opportunities, because what was available for 10 rupees or 100 rupees earlier is now available for probably 60, maybe 50 rupees right now. While it may sound very predatory to be very opportunist in this space, that if there is an opportunity, then why not squeeze and have a better negotiation and acquisition at a lower cost. But that is how the name of the game is. People look into opportunities, and if there is an opportunity and the two parties agree on to a certain commercial deal, the deal happens. So there will be interest if there is juice in this. It's at a very nascent stage, and we have to see. We've been doing certain due diligences around certain retail companies, but definitely not F&B right now, because F&B is definitely in a very hard stage. Thank you.
I think, Mr. Jha, can I add a little positive note?
Why not? Yes.
There's a little positive note for my audience here. In April 2020, during lockdown, there was an infusion of $50 million by creative hedge funds for Rebel Foods, which is being headed by Mr. Berman. So this is a little positive news which has come in actually for the cloud kitchen. Secondly, I want to add a little bit more here. As I told you, this is very close to my heart. See, there's one more thing which is going to really keep this, this domain in a sustainable format. A lot of companies realized during the lockdown that working from home makes a very feasible kind of work situation for them. Like you look at TCS, they said 70% can work from home. And this is going to happen a lot, actually. Going to happen a lot. And see, all these people who are working for these, these tech companies, they were used to fantastic dining facilities during lunchtime, dinner time. Now, I am sure they're not going to be sitting at home and cooking. Now, this is the domain which these cloud kitchens are going to cater to. This is the new market which is going to evolve. COVID is there or COVID is not there. Understand, people have realized in these companies that working from home makes a very feasible, solution in terms of even, taking care of their rental cost as a company. So this is a new market which has really sprung up because of the adversity, which is a kind of a positive thing for cloud kitchen. But as I'm telling you again, I just missed one point for my audience, that please see that you are in a very overcrowded marketplace, digital marketplace. Once you are planning, please be very focused on your logo and your brand name, because there are two things which will be very vital for you to really spring up. That will be your optimization of search engine, your SME, and second, will be social media optimization, search engine optimization, social media optimization. All these factors, they go back to how you are really making your logo. What is your brand name? Are you easily, seen? And secondly, in terms of marketing also, See, the only tangible you get in a cloud kitchen, how you have a perceived value of a cloud kitchen. In a restaurant, the full look of a restaurant is a tangible thing, or the crockery, cutlery, glass, or whatever it is. For a cloud kitchen, my suggestion to a lot of my friends, kindly pay a lot of attention into your branding, logo, packaging. And my suggestion again is there, if possible, I'm not saying do it immediately. If you're starting, kindly make a good website, but make a real-time website. Don't put things which are that you're not doing. Put things which you're doing, and people should relate to the website, because looking at your packaging, looking at your website, people will relate to you as a brand. They will relate to you as a brand. And when the food comes on the table at their homes, they can understand it, that what is the quality they are looking at, what is the perceived value of that product. So please, for my lot of friends who are going to be starting this, please look into these things. See what happens. We started, later we realize that we are not even seen in the platform. You know, so these are few points I thought, and I thought a little bit good news for them. You know, I mean, now I'm not going to take a case study of Rebel Foods, but yes, there is an infusion that has happened there. You know,
quite.
Go ahead, Mr. Jha. Go ahead.
And indication as well. Mr. Rout, are you audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
So, like, you disconnected. I was asking a question like, we haven't heard of the top hotel chains delivery food to home. Now, if you see many hotel chains and individual hotels have tied up with food aggregators like Swiggy, Zomato for home delivery thing. So, how do you explain the changing trends due to this collaboration or association? Also, do you foresee that this collaboration is going to push up the revenue or F&B revenue basically for the hotel chains? Third part, is that going to bring more working pressure on the traditional kitchens or kitchens of the hotels? Your take, please.
Mr. Jha, very good question. In fact, a very tricky question right at this moment. If I'm going to answer this question, so it's like if I look at 6 months back or maybe a year back, there were certain places where people, even from 5-star hotel, people are thinking about this delivery business to capture that extra bit of piece of business and compete with the other aggregators. But if we look at what happened in last 3 months or 4 months, I mean, it was unfortunate, but it left the 5-star hotels only to get into that kind of business. I mean, it was a kind of reactive than proactive. If I say it was kind of reactive, because the situation was such that people do not have any other choice, because people are sitting at home and they wanted to order. So that's how the 5-star hotel business got into the takeaway or delivery, what you say. But if I look at the long-term business, it might add a piece or a share of business to the whole overall business of the food and beverage of a 5-star hotel. But if you ask me, is this going to be the way forward? I don't think it is going to be the way forward, because 5-star hotels are generally into the creating experience, and when there are a lot of aggregators in the market who deliver quite a great quality food and with a nice packaging at a particular price, I'm sure for the 5-star hotels competing with them, it becomes a little difficult. So looking at the traditional and the conventional way, if the 5-star hotels decide to drop the profitability ratio and go the way the restaurants are going, then it might be a way forward to add little more revenue to the hotel business. But if you ask me honestly, is it going to be a sustainable way for the 5-star hotels to run it like a delivery or takeaway? I'm not sure about it right at this moment. I don't think it is going to work in the long run.
Thank you, Mr. Rout. So it's all about creating experiences. And related to, there is a question for Mr. Kohli. What do you think about the future of fine dining restaurants? Will they ever be back to the pre-COVID situation? Mr. Kohli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jha. Yeah, this is a question which is often asked, and like Mr. Rout just mentioned, I think people are looking at it from a very short-sighted view, thinking that this pandemic or this kind of situation is going to last. Well, it might take its time, but after all, it's got to end sometime. And I don't think we should even think that this is going to get prolonged and prolonged. Coming to the question, no. Firstly, we should understand that a cloud kitchen is never going to replace a restaurant or the experience. It's not going to happen, and I don't think anybody's thinking about it that way. Also, to think that either will drive either out is also not going to happen, as the cloud kitchens are a new phenomenon. They are still evolving, and of course they are here to stay. We should accept it, and they are here to stay, and we should accept it, and we should welcome it with open arms. Why why is this question propped up? I guess because a lot of five stars and hotels and restaurant chains are getting into cloud kitchens now. Well, let me tell you, they're doing that because they already have the infrastructure. No, for example, a five-star hotel is not going to go and buy a place or rent a place and start a cloud kitchen. It's doing so because it already has the place existing. It has got the infrastructure existing. It has got the staff existing. So right now it's not about increasing your revenue because there isn't any. It's about the survival mode. It's about manufacturing some kind of revenue so that we keep afloat. Whether they find it profitable enough to sustain it is a question which only time will answer. And therefore, I do not see any competition as such in these two phenomena. A five-star will always charge a little elevated rate because of its overheads even at this period. And one cannot compare it, what it's going to charge, vis-a-vis an established player is going to start. As I said, yes, the more the merrier. I think it opens up new avenues for it. Competition here is healthy. It is not to be taken as detrimental to any other concept. So I think we are all here, and we'll all stay here, and we'll sustain. And the new players will then decide whether they need to carry on once this social distancing, etc. norms, which will finally go away. See, a human is a social animal. Man is a social animal. You cannot keep him away for a long time. And our industry depends on social interaction. So I think this is a bad time for everybody. And we just have to fight it out. That's about it. Just think positively.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kohli. Mr. Gulshan, there is a question for you. How should one go about marketing a cloud kitchen business? Can a cloud kitchen survive without aggregators like Swiggy or Zomato?
So we are in a disruptive kind of economy, and anything is possible. There is a possibility that Swiggy goes, Zomato goes, something else comes up, a better system comes up. So never say never, like we say in this business. Anything is possible. That's the first thing we need to work with, first condition we need to work with. In terms of marketing, I think people should focus on the brand. People should focus on their niche. People should focus on their capabilities and what they can do best. Some of the speakers have previously spoken about showing the best foot forward, for keeping the best foot forward. It could be a small menu, but that's your own, which you believe is what you can deliver, rather than seeing, okay, he's making money out of doing that. That's not the way we should be approaching this particular exercise. I think what is important is, I think one of the previous panelists also mentioned about writing down your plan and saying why I want to do this. I think that's a good starting point. Ensuring that you bring your capacity, capability, of course, do your market research and understand what is consumer looking for. But if you have the confidence, if you have the skill, you can perhaps propose something which is not currently available, and you could create your niche that way. Marketing is critical, but branding is more important. What you are bringing to the table is more important. I think the product is right, people would go for it. And like any other business, food business, I think consistency is critical. You can't be good one day and not so good next day. If people start liking you, they go with that prospects always. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gulshan. Mr. Chandra, there is a question for you. Similar to faceless receptions in hotel, do you foresee faceless or humanless kitchens as well? Mr. Chandra.
This is future, but today I don't see it. Let me tell you one thing. A lot of things are changing. 10 years back, no one thought that they will buy a car. Today, just 2 years back, people thought that they will not buy a car. they will use Ola and Uber. But today, because of COVID, they are thinking how to get rid of Ola, Uber. So time changes. But what I'm saying is, it will take another 5 or 10 years to robots to come in kitchen and make all the dosas, rotis, or anything. Some things are happening, but the cost of technology is very high. In India, labor is so cheap. So it is already happening in many parts, like in Japan or US, but India, it will take at least 10 years, I can say that. I want to add some more points here. You know what? There are a lot of things which a startup needs to do in terms of videos of their kitchens. Videos are required because they are no-brainers. If startups are here, they need to create something. They have to use the advantage of SMAC, social media, analytics, and cloud. We have not touched that part at all here. Kitchen display systems. Okay, if a guest, you have to take a tour, like, we have FAM tools for the travel agents and hoteliers. We should also have FAM tools of cloud kitchen for very important consumer who orders, say, 10 times in a month. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is for Mr. Rout. Mr. Rout, the question is, are the test palette of smaller tier 2 and 3 cities in India evolving to accept international cuisines? If we open a cloud kitchen with international cuisine in a smaller cities, will it work?
Mr. Jha, this is again a question which I've been a chef for last 21 years. I think that is still when we deliver a pasta in the 5-star hotel and still we get to hear the pasta is uncooked. So the part is still remaining. If we look at very sportily at this part, it will be a challenge. It will remain always. It is not going to go away at one shot. Even 3-star cities or even the metro cities, it's that little bit of issues are still persistent. Yes, it might. We have to look at the international cuisine, the cuisines which tickles the palate of the Indians. Like a Mexican cuisine, generally, definitely it go without thinking twice. It go and hits the palate of an Indian. A cuisine which is from maybe a Lebanese, which generally hits the palate of an Indian. But if I look at a French cuisine or maybe a very subtle or a mild cuisine, might not work at that point of time. We might have to little bit modify it a little bit. Like if you look at Domino's or other pizzas, which when they come to India, there is a little bit of modification. That kind of the spice mix what you get in a pouch, you don't get abroad the same spice mix with a Domino's pizza. Definitely, it is going to be going to work. But the thing is that there has to be a little bit of personal touch. There has to be a little bit of modification, looking at the demand of the people, what they prefer to eat, rather than what we want to sell.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Mr. Sachdeva. Mr. Sachdeva, the question is, can a single outlet kitchen become profitable, or is it important to have multiple kitchens for break even? Mr. Sachdeva.
I think it is all how, if it's a single outlet kitchen or a single cuisine kitchen, it can make money. It depends. If the customer traction is really healthy and good, then it will definitely be profitable. So profit depends on not the number of cuisines. Profitability of a kitchen or a restaurant depends on how good the food is, how good the experience and service is. So it's a total experience. Somebody was telling me in the last webinar I was doing that we are offering a 60-minute vacation. When people come to our restaurants, like a 60-minute vacation, and people want to experience. It's not only the quality of food, it is also the service, the way we treat them. It is how the experience is. It's how the cutlery, crockery is laid, and so on and so forth. So the profitability, to answer you, depends on many factors. It doesn't really restrict a restaurant to have a single cuisine restaurant or a multi-cuisine restaurant. If the service and the food and the speed of delivery, if you're talking cloud kitchen, is good, and your brand standards and your logos are standing out and your USPs are really good, then nobody can stop you. And to top it all, a good team will definitely make sure that there are profits.
Thank you. Next question is for Mr. Chopra. Mr. Chopra, what kind of licenses are required to start a cloud kitchen? What are the SOPs to be followed? And is there a FHRAI guideline for cloud kitchen?
Okay, I make it very simple. As per my knowledge, for cloud kitchen, there are 4 vital licenses, and I think I think Mr. Kohli will totally endorse it, because I'm sure he's more knowledgeable there. Yeah, definitely FSSI. Then you have you need to also have your fire license in case if you're using gas. If you're using induction, that could be accepted. Third is that you will need a trade license. In Bombay, we call it Gumasta. And fourthly, you will need a GST also. These four are definitely required. And plus, I still feel that whoever has asked this question should still see where they are, in which part of India they are, and they should abide by those compliances of the local municipality also, if there are any licenses to that effect. Secondly, there is a new guideline which has come, from the association in terms of SSAI, which could be shared with the person who has asked, and I could, maybe send it to you. There's a full guideline of, in terms of safety. And thirdly, there's one more question is SOPs. You asked me something. You asked me one more thing. You asked me. Yeah, I'll tell you one very vital point in terms of licensing, especially for my friends who are here, to be entrepreneurs. My suggestion, kindly take these licenses, because a lot of aggregators, they are only going to empanel you only if you have these licenses. See, I've been talking to a lot of home chefs where they said that we don't have GST, we don't have, but we are still empaneled. It may have happened in the past, but that is not the right way of doing things. I feel you should have 100% compliance, operation when you start your cloud kitchen. So this is my suggestion. Because a lot of people keep talking to me. They say, I have not done this. So why, Mr. Chopra, I should do this? I said, see, to my knowledge, these four are to my knowledge. And they are very, very nominally priced also by the government body. They are not very expensive licenses. And you have a lot of licensing, they're very effective, licensing companies who can really help you, or your CA could help you. Actually, these are my suggestions to you.
Thank
and
you. So the
I think it helps. Yeah, I think.
The last thing is, Mr. Chandra, is this right time for cloud kitchen to bloom? Yes or no?
I feel because customer sentiments are not good, they want, if everything is going to be high-tech touchless, yes, then it's the right time. But as of now, I feel within 1 or 2 months, once the COVID is out, then the cloud kitchen will take really shape. But it is, some people have to wait for 1 or 2 months more. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chopra.
Yes, please. Yes, sir. You want me to answer the same question?
Yeah.
So can you repeat the
question
right again? Sorry, can you?
Kitchen to bloom?
Okay. I'll be very honest in my statement to all my friends here. See, today coming into Cloud Kitchen, it is not only that we have a passion to come into Cloud Kitchen, as I've been telling you again and again, being from F&B business. It is also today one area which has come up because of the circumstances and the premise which has come. Honestly speaking, being from the business, we have no proof of concept. We don't know when this will end. We don't know. I mean, I was just, seeing news today that again, there's a lockdown coming in Bangalore, a lot of stuff which happened. Globally, it is happening. I mean, today I saw news in Dubai, again, bars are closed, bars and pubs are not serving liquor. So we really don't know what is the kind of a recovery curve we are going to go into. It is V, U, L, whatever, we can keep talking in terms of, our thought process. I feel today, for salvaging our business also, there are a lot of restaurateurs who have invested money, who have opened their restaurants just 6 months before. I keep meeting them, talking to them on Zoom, and they need to salvage that business. They've invested their hard-earned money. So one of the areas where you have an option right now is only delivery. The reason is this, that people are only ordering food, and that's the only way you can cater to them. And trust me, even I am very, very afraid to go out and eat, even if the restaurant opens, because my mindset has completely changed. So please understand, sir, my suggestion to all my people who are here, don't get disheartened. Be very positive. We will fight back this, but the only option right now, go with your innate passion to do Cloud Kitchen. Do this. I'm sure delivery is there to stay. It was always there to stay. Growth was already happening. It is to stay, but right now, because of premise, it has become even more mandatory for people to only order this food in terms of delivery. So let us sail through it. Let's take it how it comes, and let's sustain it. I think now booming or not booming is a very difficult answer to give, but I think if you really design it right in terms of your business plan, and if you're very passionate about it, definitely, yes, I would say if you want to go into F&B business, you need to be a hands-on person. You need to know your, onions right. You need to be 24/7, 365 days with a thumb on the business. I'm sure you will do it right, and I'm very positive about it with the kind of, F&B that I have seen in my career. I hope this will give some positive thoughts to my friends on the panel.
Good. Very positive.
Thank you.
Mr. Kohli.
Thank you.
Mr. Kohli.
Yes. I absolutely agree with Mr. Chopra that I think this phenomenon is catapulted only because of the present situation. Yes, the market is there, but I don't think any business should be looked at on sentiments. It should not be based on sentiments or the present market scenario, which is definitely going to change. So you have to do all your due diligence that you have to do in a normal any kind of business or restaurant or F&B. And as I say, and I've always been very positive, the Indian entrepreneur is very resilient. Uh, you know, you can't be bogged down. Yes, there will be casualties, but we will rise. This F&B industry will rise. We will bounce back. We will recognize new opportunities, and this cloud kitchen is one of those new opportunities. How to go about it? We have to go about it in a very structured manner. Just jumping into it, if you do not do your due diligence, yes, you will suffer like any other business. So I don't think this is something. Yeah, it's not something that you need to, as I said, take. It's not a via media. It is not another option. It is an added option.
Good. So we need to take a structured approach to this. Mr. Rout, what?
Mr. Jab, honestly, I have been a part of this conversion of a five-star hotel kitchen into a cloud kitchen. So I've seen it, how it happens. So though it was not in India, it was in abroad. So where we have handled almost 8 brands under one roof. So all of a sudden we realized there is a spike in the business. It was quite a big jump. The way conventional kitchen used to work and the way that kitchen worked, there was a spike. But if you ask me, looking at India as a country right at this moment, because of the COVID, if we are looking at, are we going to get a chance to, this business is going to bloom? I'm honestly, I'm not sure about, like Mr. Chopra said, we are also not very sure about it. And I don't think this is the right time it will bloom or not. But it will bloom looking at the perspective of a business
Overall,
in the long run. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Gulshan.
I always tell new entrepreneurs that, remember, the fool didn't know it was impossible. So he just did it. So one is, of course, due diligence needs to be done, but there's also a difference between due diligence and procrastination. So you have to find the right balance, and if you have success, be always with you. Best of luck to anybody's mind.
Mr. Sachdeva, what is your suggestion?
I think there is never a wrong time to start anything good, and needless to say, you need passion to do anything that you want to do. Without that, you will never succeed. And third thing is, yes, this situation has given an opportunity, understood thought of a lot of people that why and why not cloud kitchen. So do it. There's never a wrong time, as I said. The third most important thing that I would like to underline is, do your homework right, because people sit between 3 friends. Okay, you put some money, I'll put some money, let's do it. We are thinking, we are listening, it's very good. Do your homework right. When we do due diligence on a company, within 3 months we know more than the promoter of the company, because we map it left, right, center. So do your homework right, understand which cuisine, how, where, how much, pricing, this, that, delivery time, all that hygiene stuff. So do your homework right, and evaluate the product and evaluate the market, and then enter. There is never looking back, and there is never a wrong time.
Thank you. So the final thing is, do your homework right. Thank you all of you for giving us time, giving FHIn time for this very, very intuitive interaction. I also thank all audiences for the overwhelming response.